Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. If you're an educator, you already know that assessing student work is just a massive, exhausting part of the job. But today, we're unpacking a truly transformative framework that's going to change how we think about evaluation. It's called PeerCollab, and its core mission is right there in the subtitle, Peer Assessment for Student Success. We're going to explore how we can actually shift our perspective, moving away from just handing out letter grades and instead fostering this vibrant, supportive environment where students are actually growing. So let's dive right into this. That is the golden question, isn't it? What makes feedback truly effective? I mean, we spend hours writing comments in margins, attaching rubrics, calculating numbers, but how often does all that effort actually translate into a student significantly improving on their very next assignment? In this explainer, we're going to bridge that crucial gap between just issuing a grade and genuinely fostering student growth. And it all starts with understanding the tools we're already using to communicate with our students. Part 1. The role of feedback. Okay, to really get to the bottom of this, we first need to look at two critical tools we use every single day. On one side, we have formative assessment. As the PeerCollab framework points out, formative assessment provides essential insights into student learning. Basically, think of it as your diagnostic tool. It tells us, the teachers, exactly where the students are in their learning journey at any given moment. Now, on the other side, we have effective feedback. Effective feedback goes a massive step further. It actually enhances understanding, encourages growth, and builds a truly supportive environment. So if formative assessment is the map that shows us where the student is standing right now, effective feedback is the vehicle that actually drives them forward to their destination. It's the active ingredient. Part 2. Characteristics of good feedback. Now, what's really brilliant here is how the PeerCollab framework takes this big, sometimes overwhelming concept of good feedback and breaks it down into 4 incredibly simple, straightforward pillars. Pillar number 1, feedback must be actionable. What does that actually mean in practice? Well, it means offering specific steps students can take to improve their performance. We've all seen, or let's be honest, probably written feedback that says something like, needs improvement or dig deeper. And while that might be true, it's not actionable. The student just looks at it and thinks, okay, but how? Actionable feedback gives them a concrete path forward. It literally transforms a vague critique into a clear to-do list for their next try. Let's move to the second pillar, which is that feedback has to be specific. The guidelines define this as detailing exactly what was done well and exactly what needs improvement. And notice, that's a two-way street. It's absolutely crucial to be highly specific about a student's successes, not just their mistakes. If they wrote a fantastic introductory paragraph, tell them exactly why it was fantastic so they can replicate it next time. Specificity completely removes the guesswork. Students need to know precisely what worked and what didn't, so they aren't just fumbling in the dark. All right, the third pillar is all about timing. Feedback must be immediate. The framework explains that immediate feedback lets students make corrections promptly, which reinforces both learning and long-term retention. I mean, think about it. If a student turns in a paper and doesn't get comments back for a month, the learning moment is totally gone. They've already moved on. But when you make it immediate, the struggle, the context, the whole thought process is still fresh in their minds. Giving them the chance to course correct right then and there deepens their retention of the material so much more. And finally, the fourth pillar, feedback needs to be focused on quality. This means centering your comments on the actual quality of the task and the specific strategies the student used, rather than just fixating on the grade. It is incredibly easy to get caught up in that letter or percentage at the top of the page, right? But if we want real growth, our feedback has to address the process. Did they use a good research strategy? Was their method for solving the equation solid even if they messed up the final calculation? By focusing on the strategies, we're teaching students how to think, not just how to score points. Okay, let's take a step back and look at the whole picture. Here is the complete PeerCollab framework from a bird's eye view, which, by the way, is an initiative co-funded by the European Union. You don't need to read every tiny line here, but what really matters is seeing the shape of this interconnected system. It flows deliberately from the core philosophy at the top, straight down through those 4 characteristics we just talked about. Seeing it laid out like this really drives home that these aren't just random, isolated tips. They form a cohesive system designed to completely overhaul the feedback loop and create a genuinely supportive classroom. Part 3, how to get involved. So all this theory is fantastic, but how do we actually bring this into our schools today? Well, the PeerCollab initiative lays out a remarkably clear 3-step roadmap. Step 1, access the Peer Assessment Handbook. That's your comprehensive guide to the philosophy and the actual mechanics of the framework. Step 2, apply the ready-to-use templates. Seriously, don't reinvent the wheel. They've already provided practical, structured templates you can instantly plug into your lesson plans. And finally, step 3, implement structured peer assessment in your classroom. Once you apply these resources, your students don't just get high-quality feedback from you, they actually start providing it to each other, multiplying the learning moments in your room. To wrap things up, I want to leave you with this powerful mission statement right from the PeerCollab initiative itself. Together, we strengthen teaching quality and student success across Europe. This is about so much more than just making grading a little more efficient. It's a collective effort to elevate the standard of education and genuinely set our students up for success. By making our feedback actionable, specific, immediate, and focused on quality, we literally change the learning experience. So my question to you before you go is this: what is one grading habit you're going to change tomorrow to ensure your students aren't just being assessed, but are actually growing?